Well, I'm here with Joe Pinion. Joe, it's coming down to you or Mr. Nader.
Correct.
And we are 85 days away from the big day.
I think, what, 80, 89? 89 or 88, yeah.
Something like
we're-
that.
Yep.
Now, Joe, tell me about your first few things. If you are elected, what would be your first thing on your priority list that you are going to take care of?
Well, first thing we're trying to talk about is getting rid of the Yonkers personal income tax. Yonkers personal income tax literally takes millions of dollars out of the pockets of the people who live right here in Yonkers, and it has not fixed any of the problems that it said they were going to fix 35 years ago when the state passed laws to allow us to pass it. So that's the first thing. And then by doing so, taking away the leverage that the state uses by pointing to that money and forcing us then to not get the resources that we deserve all across the board. So that's number one. Also trying to negotiate any one of the thousands of formulas that basically give Yonkers less than they deserve, from the fact that we have 4,000 or 7,000 acres of state-owned land here in Yonkers, or in Westchester County, that do not actually get any type of tax revenue because the state has decided that Westchester is this kind of tax oblivious haven. So to me, really making sure that we're going to Albany to fight to make sure that, hey, you're going to pay property taxes on the land that's in Westchester County the same way you pay property taxes on 90% of the state-owned land across this state. Now we've got 450 acres of state-owned land here in Yonkers. The state pays not a dime of property taxes on. That's millions of dollars that should be flowing to Westchester and Yonkers. That's millions of dollars that should be going to be able to make sure that we can fund our children effectively, to make sure we can keep our community safe. So, that and so many more things that can be done on a specific level to make sure that Yonkers gets the funding and the resources that we deserve.
Now, Joe, if I'm one of those guys that it's not sure who to vote for, and I'm also one of those guys that does not vote according to party lines, what would you say? Why should I vote for you and not for Mr. Nader?
Well, look, here's the reality. I think that whatever you want to think about me, no one's ever taken my lunch money. And the fact is, I'm getting ready to go to Albany and fight for the children that live in this city to make sure that we don't have a state delegation that allows them to be robbed of the money that they need for lunch. When 78% of the children that attend our public schools can't afford basic lunch. When we have 24% of the children living in this city are living in poverty. Right? When we have seniors right now that aren't going to have a star rebate because they would just had that ripped away from them because of a 6.25 local tax cap. And that's all because of the fact that we pay more money in taxes than Syracuse, Rochester, and Buffalo combined. And that is not a mistake. It's simply because of the fact that Albany has determined that the people of Yonkers do not have value. And I think that anybody who wants to continue to support policies that allow the citizens of this city to act as if, somehow that there's nothing that can be done, realistically is not someone that you should be able to trust to go out to Albany and stand up on your behalf. And so I would encourage individuals to say, look, who are these individuals? What have they done? What's the work that they have done in this community? Just because you've been around a long time does not mean that you're necessarily qualified to do the job. Where are the results? Right? What are the tangible things that you can point to that you've done in your life professionally that will allow you to be able to stand in front of people with credibility and say that, look, I can actually achieve results. And I think that those are the things that I would encourage voters to look at when you start talking about who do I go into a booth and fill that bubble in next to you come November.
Well, Joe, one of the things that I think will help people make their mind about who they should vote for, it's a debate where we can ask you questions, ask your opposition questions, and compare which answer is the one that I would like the best, which will help me decide I should vote for this one or that one. Are you ready to debate Mr. Nader?
Absolutely. I'm ready anytime, any place, any day. I think that one of the reasons why I got in this race, which I would mark long before my opponent got in this race, long before it was an open seat, was because I felt that as a community we weren't having the conversations that we desperately needed to have. That every year we were having coronations where we had individuals who are running the unopposed elections who then proceeded to go to Albany. They would come to our community meetings, they would show up, they would take the pictures, but ultimately nothing changed for the people that live in this city. And so when I made a determination to get in this race and to say that, look, simply, I like the individuals that have served for us. They are a part of our community, and we have a great deal of affection for them. But at the end of the day, love doesn't pay the bills. Love doesn't provide your children with the resources they deserve. Love doesn't allow us to be able to have a city where all of a sudden we're forced to go from 4,000 kids in after-school sports down to just 500, 400 kids because we just don't have the resources. Love doesn't prevent us, allow our children to be able to have state-of-the-art classrooms instead of having to be in a place where, they're literally learning learning math in decommissioned sports locker rooms. That is not me being, overly exaggerated. Overly exaggerated. That's because of the fact that we simply don't get the resources that we need year after year after year. And so, I'm ready to have that debate, to have that conversation, to allow the people of Yonkers to get answers to the questions that have gone unaddressed for my entire life.
So, Mr. Nader, we here, Yonkers Voice and Yonkers Newswire, we are prepared to host this debate between Joe Pinion and yourself. So hopefully for the best of the people of Yonkers, to keep them educated so they can make an informed decision. Please let us know when you are ready so we can get this thing going. Any last words?
Just looking forward to meeting all the people in Yonkers, looking forward to having conversations with you about the simple things that we can do at the state level to make sure that you have the future and the security that you deserve.
Check it out.